Wait, what? There's a town in Colorado that was literally called Nothing. You heard that right? Imagine driving through the Centennial State and stumbling upon a place with such an unusual name. It's not just a figment of someone's imagination. People actually lived there for a while. Now, you might be thinking, how does a town end up with a name like Nothing? Well, that's part of the charm. Like many oddly named towns across America, Nothing, Colorado, had its own quirky origin story. It wasn't a bustling metropolis by any means. In fact, it was more of a blink and you'll miss it kind of place, with a tiny population that could probably fit in a school bus. But here's the thing about Nothing. It became something interesting precisely because of its unusual name. Think about it. If you were driving through Colorado and saw a sign for Nothing, wouldn't you be curious? It's like the town's founders decided to play a little joke on map makers and tourists alike. Speaking of tiny populations, Nothing was in good company. The United States is dotted with small towns sporting all sorts of eyebrow-raising names. There's why, Arizona, and why not North Carolina? You've got boring, Oregon, which is ironically anything but boring because of its name. And let's not forget about hell, Michigan, a place that probably gets a lot of when hell freezes over jokes in the winter. Back to Nothing though. Its name might make you wonder about the mindset of the folks who settled there. Did they have a great sense of humor? Were they making a statement about the barren landscape? Or did they just want to confuse future generations of GPS users? Whatever the reason, they certainly succeeded in creating a conversation starter. The beauty of a name like Nothing is that it instantly makes the town memorable. Let's face it, if you're a tiny speck on the map of Colorado, you need something to make you stand out. And what better way to do that than by calling your town Nothing? It's like reverse psychology for geography. The more you say there's nothing there, the more people want to check it out. This quirky naming trend isn't just limited to small towns either. Even some bigger cities get in on the action. Take Truth or Consequences, New Mexico? It's a real place that changed its name to match a popular radio show back in the 1950s. Talk about commitment to a bit. But there's something special about these tiny towns with big personalities. They remind us that even in the most unexpected places, there's always a story to be found. Nothing, Colorado, might not have had much in terms of population or attractions, but it had a name that could spark curiosity and conversation like few others. Imagine being a resident of Nothing. Where are you from? Someone might ask. Oh, Nothing. You'd reply with a straight face. It's the perfect setup for all sorts of jokes and puns. What's going on in your town? Nothing. What's there to do around here? Nothing. You'd be the hit of every party with that routine. Of course, living in a place called Nothing probably came with its own set of challenges. Mail delivery must have been interesting. Address: 123 Main Street, Nothing, Colorado. It sounds like the beginning of an existential crisis rather than a mailing address. And forget about telling people where you live without launching into a whole explanation. But that's part of what makes these oddly named towns so fascinating. They're conversation starters, icebreakers, and sources of endless amusement. They're reminders that even in the most serious of endeavors, like founding a town, there's room for a little playfulness and humor. The story of Nothing, Colorado, also highlights the creativity and diversity of American place names, from the descriptive Grand Canyon, to the historical New York, to the downright whimsical Intercourse. Pennsylvania? Yes, that's real. The map of the United States is a treasure trove of linguistic curiosities. These names often reflect the character of the place or the people who settled there. Sometimes they're tributes to hometown heroes or faraway places. Other times, like in the case of Nothing, they seem to be inside jokes that somehow made it onto official maps and road signs. It's worth noting that many of these unusually named towns, including Nothing, are no longer thriving communities. Some have become ghost towns, their quirky names the only remnants of their former existence. Others have been absorbed into larger municipalities, losing their distinct identities in the process. But even if Nothing is no more, its legacy lives on. It's a reminder of the human tendency to find humor and meaning in, well, nothing. It's a testament to the power of a good name to capture the imagination and create a lasting impression. In a world where so much of our attention is focused on big cities and famous landmarks, places like Nothing remind us to look closer, to appreciate the little details and unexpected surprises that make life interesting. They encourage us to take the road less traveled, to explore the backroads and byways where these hidden gems of nomenclature are waiting to be discovered. So the next time you on a road trip and see a sign for a town with an unusual name, take a moment to appreciate it. Whether it's Nothing, Colorado, or somewhere equally intriguing, remember that there's always a story behind the name. And sometimes, that story is worth more than any tourist attraction or famous landmark. In the end, Nothing, Colorado, may have been just a tiny blip on the map, but it left a big impression. It's a perfect example of how sometimes the most memorable things come from the most unexpected places. And isn't that what makes exploring the world so much fun? So here's to Nothing, and to all the other wonderfully named places out there. They may be small, they may be quirky, but they're never boring. They're the spice in the great American melting pot of place names, reminding us that even in the middle of nowhere, you can find something worth talking about.